And welcome back to our Commitment 2026 coverage, primary election night here in California. We are covering races up and down the state and statewide races, starting with the governor and all the way on down. I'm Edie Lambert.
That's right. I'm Golston Dart. We're covering all the congressional races. Remember Prop 50 changing how the redistricting looks now, the maps in our state to favor Democrats. How's that working? We'll explain.
And I'm Curtis May. We have a team of reporters up and down California, San Francisco, across Southern California and across the valley, and we're bringing you live results and analysis as it all comes in.
And the leader of our next state is also a question for voters tonight in the race to replace Governor Gavin Newsom. I'm Ashley Zavala, and we also have two political experts, Republican strategist Tim Rosales and Democratic strategist Steve Maviglio. We'll be getting their perspectives tonight with the results as they come in.
All right, we're going to start with District 1, and there's something all of us can talk about here. I know you've been covering this closely with your graphics, and let's show you what this is looking like right now. So the District 1 race, James Gallagher, the Republican, advances to the November election, and there's also another component to this.
Right, so this is in the new District 1 that was redrawn under Prop 50, and you can see another Democrat, Audrey Denny, who's run before for Congress up in that area. James Gallagher with a very strong showing, what they call the unexpired term. So this is the one that's going to start in January. There is also a special election, which was also held today with a completely separate ballot, and that is for the current 1st District. That was represented by Doug LaMalfa for many years, and as he passed away, James Gallagher had the blessing of the LaMalfa family. Doug LaMalfa was his longtime mentor, starting at the state capitol, and then now he's hoping to succeed his longtime mentor in this special election.
But you look at the disparity in the numbers there, and you think, wow, I mean, this was one of the districts that was supposedly redrawn to kind of shake things up, Ashley.
Right, well, just to flesh this out, first off, just to take a step back, James Gallagher in the special election to fill the late Doug LaMalfa seat. He will take over that seat until the end of this year. Now, this newly drawn map, which are the results that you're seeing on your screen right now, this was the North State, a very heavily Republican part of California that was completely altered under Proposition 50. And it was supposed to fill it with more Democrats and give Democrats an upper hand. But James Gallagher is showing that these numbers, I mean, people really turned out so far for him with the number of precincts reporting with that lead that he has so far.
Okay,
this could be a surprise.
I need to jump in. I think that we may have...
This is the current District 1.
This is the current District 1. Okay, so this is the special election to fill the seat that had been held by Congressman LaMalfa until he passed away.
So 50% or more, this person will fill the seat for the rest of the term. If nobody reached 50% on this one, then there would be a runoff in August. So this is for the current District 1.
And this was expected. This was expected. Right. That is a strong Republican stronghold, the current District 1. So yeah,
it's a complicated situation over there in District 1 with the passing of Doug LaMalfa.
Okay, so I guess we'll just say the results out loud for you. These are not going to match what you're seeing on the screen, but for the new District 1, it appears that we will have James Gallagher advancing along with Mike McGuire. Okay, there are those numbers, and Ashley, this is more what you might expect, especially with another Democrat in the race.
Yes, this is for the map that was redrawn, the newly designed map, but again, these numbers are interesting because this district was drawn to give Democrats an edge, and right now, based on the numbers, the Democrat does not have the edge, which is the surprise tonight.
All right, let's move now to the race for governor and some of our statewide races. Doesn't look like we have new numbers in here. These look very similar to the numbers that we showed you in the last hour, but we have Republican Steve Hilton in the lead, Democrat Javier Becerra within about a point, almost exactly a point, and then Tom Steuer about 5 points back behind that, which must be very disappointing given spending $216 million of his personal fortune.
More than any other candidate.
By far.
Yeah.
That is something. Well, speaking of the governor's race, let's take you down to Los Angeles. Andrea Flores has been standing by there. She's at the Javier Becerra campaign headquarters, and they're having a little bit of a party, and they've got to be pretty happy at this point in the night.
Yeah, I think they're feeling pretty good about the numbers that they're seeing so far. It definitely does feel like a party, like a celebration. As we take a look at the crowd here, we heard just a few moments ago that they were asking people to come to the stage, so we should be hearing from Javier Becerra here momentarily. But we know that here at La Plaza, this is a center of culture and art here in downtown Los Angeles. Becerra is the son of Mexican immigrants, born in Sacramento, the first Latino to serve as Health and Human Services Secretary, so it makes sense that this is a space that he would host tonight's event. He has said that he is able to balance a big budget. We're going to send it back to you guys in the studio.
Yeah, we're going to go to the other location there in the LA area where Steve Hilton is talking right now, the other leader in the governor's race.
But it's looking good. It looks very much as if Californians really will have the chance to vote for change in November and take our state in a new direction, a fresh start for our state, which is long overdue. But I just want to say something to every single person who voted for me and every single person who voted in this election, whether you voted for me or not. I am here for you, for every single one of you. Because I have to tell you, it's the greatest honor of my life to stand before you now. Well over 1 million Californians have put their faith in me. The number is rising. But here's what I want to say as someone who is a new American citizen. So proud to be an American, so proud to be a Californian. What an incredible honor. The first time I've run for office, over 1 million people and rising, voting for me to take this incredible state in a new direction. And I know that some of you may be watching and saying, who is this guy with a funny accent? Thinks he can be governor of California. Well, you know, there was actually an immigrant who was governor of California not that long ago. And I remember when I became an American citizen, that certain governor you may remember, he said, congratulations. He made a very nice video. He said, but Steve, you got to get the wrong jacket. You got the wrong jacket. And I made a pledge that day that one day I would get the jacket that Arnold told me to get on my road to being governor of California. And here it is. I am a proud American. There's the jacket. And I am a very proud Californian. A very proud Californian tonight. Arnold, that was for you. Yes, exactly. So, you didn't see it. All right. Look. And California. So I've been traveling this state for the last year. We started off a scrappy little startup, just a handful of rebels, believing that this state could be better than it is today. We're already the best place in the world, no question about that. There's nowhere better than California. But we all know that this state has gone off track and we need to get it back on track. And I've seen the struggle that Californians are facing today. That is the word, and it's a very sad thing to say about our beautiful state. And I've been on the road and doing hundreds of events and the town halls and all the people that come, and I see it in your eyes, the struggle of running a small business, the struggle for working people in California. Young people who don't see their future in California anymore, who think that they have to move to another state to have that dream of owning their own home that we used to offer better than anywhere else in the world. That's what we need to get back for California. The belief that we can offer that. And so to every young person watching in California, whether you voted for me or not tonight, I just want you to know that I see you. I believe in you. I know that you can do it. I know that we can do it. We can make California a place where when you work hard, it's not just a struggle. That's why my plan is so simple and practical, not ideological. We've had enough ideology in California, haven't we? It's time. It's time for positive, practical things. I'm fighting for working people in California so that you can keep more of what you earn. The best way to put money in people's pockets is to take less out of it in the first place. And that's what I'll do as your governor. Your first 100 grand tax-free. Simple, practical things to make life less of a struggle for working people and for small businesses. Most of my career has been in business. I've run small businesses, including restaurants. That is a tough business, by the way. And here's how we're going to help small business in California. Number one, simple, practical things. $800 every business has to pay to the government just for existing. That's crazy. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to help small business. Working people in California paying the highest gas prices in the country. That's insane when we have abundant oil reserves right here in California. As long as we are using oil and gas in California, let's use California oil and gas. That's the plan. And that way, we can get our gas prices down. $3 gas. That's the plan. Electric bills, the highest in the country, double the national average. We can have a sensible energy policy, cut your electric bills in half. This is the kind of thing that we need to make our state Cal-affordable. Cal-affordable. So we restore that basic dream, a good job where you make enough to raise your family in a home of your own, in a safe neighborhood with a good school so your kids can have a better life. That's the plan. That's what I'm fighting for every working person, every small business, every young person in California that wants to stay in this state. What have we done in California, the greatest place on earth, that people are leaving our state? For hundreds of years, people have come to California to follow their dreams. But now they're leaving. Well, that's what we're going to turn around. We are going to make California the best place in the world to start and run a business, to start and raise a family. This is the place. This is the place. This is the place where we're going to make that happen. And it's not just for all of us in California, not just for everyone in our state, our friends and neighbors, our families who are looking for a better life, that dream of a better life. It's actually really important for our country. Here's something you may have heard me say many times, and I'm going to say it tonight to everybody. This is not just any other state. California means to America what America means to the world. We have a responsibility to revive California so it is once again that symbol of everything that is great about our nation. Energy and optimism and ambition, the rebel spirit of California that's meant that over the centuries we've built the most incredible businesses and industries. We've turned barren land into the world's most fertile farmland, and when I'm governor, the water will be flowing to our farmers so we can grow the healthy food that's going to make our country and the world healthy again. Los Angeles, from a desert to the entertainment industry that turned the world into a place of joy and creativity. We're going to save our entertainment industry. We're going to bring Hollywood home. We are going to make every business, small, medium, every sector. That's who I'm fighting for. The energy, the optimism, the ambition, the innovation. We've got it all here in California. We've got everything we need for this state to be amazing again. We've got the most magnificent natural beauty. We've got the best weather. We got the best people right here. We got the entrepreneurs and the innovators. We got the best universities. We've got everything we need in this state. We've got the rebel spirit.
All right, so we've got the dueling speeches right now. You're watching one of the top leaders right now in the governor's race there, Steve Hilton, on the left. On the right, that is Los Angeles as well.
Right, we see, I believe, a series of people will be getting ready to introduce Javier Becerra, but they are waiting for the end of Steve Hilton's speech.
The split screen.
We are going to make that change happen. Change is coming. Change is coming to California. Change is coming. 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 And by the way, not just to California, it looks very much like change is coming to Los Angeles as well. How about that? I think a certain outsider candidate for mayor looks like he's doing pretty well tonight as well. I don't know what it is. Maybe something about what's gone wrong in California is that we've got a failed and broken system, and you've got a couple of outsiders who've never run for office before, leading in the race for governor, looking like he's going to be in the race for mayor. This is our moment. This is our time. It is the time for change. It's time for some balance. We are going to make that happen. And I just want to say, finally, a massive thank you to every single person who's helped make that happen, starting with every single one of you right here in this room. I know from everything I've ever been able to achieve in my life, it's never one person. It is always a team. And I'm proud, by the way, to be the first candidate for governor to put together a team to run, to bring the change we need. And I want to say thank you to my great running mates. Gloria Romero running for lieutenant governor. Michael Gates, the fighter from Huntington Beach, for attorney general. I see Herb Morgan out there. He's going to help us find all that waste in our government so we can cut taxes, cut spending, and get money back to you. That's the golden ticket for the Golden State, and there's much more to come. Wait till you see what we've got coming in the months ahead. Wait till you see our plans for change. Wait till you see the team that we're going to put together. You've seen nothing like it in California before. We are going to be better prepared than any incoming administration in the history of our state to make the change happen. To make the change happen.
Republican Steve Hilton trying to energize, or definitely energizing, the crowd and getting them ready for what may be a tough race heading into November. On the right, you can see Dr. Carolina Reyes. She is the wife of Javier Becerra. She will be introducing her husband. We also expect to see their 3 daughters on stage before the candidate takes the stage. We should point out, among the many differences between these candidates, you have Steve Hilton, who came to this state a little over a decade ago from London politics, international connections there, and helped. Yeah, go ahead.
No, just say he worked in the Prime Minister David Cameron's cabinet.
Correct, yeah.
In a certain capacity, and then came here to the States. Married, became a naturalized citizen, and has been a fixture for a while on the Fox network as a TV commentator.
And then you have Javier Becerra, who is from Sacramento, graduated from McClatchy High School. He was born to Mexican-American immigrant parents, the first in his family to go to college. So you have someone with deep California roots, and looking at another leading candidate here with international experience and coming in from British politics.
And what you're seeing here is essentially the split screen of what many believe to be the ticket that you will see in November, Javier Becerra against Steve Hilton. And Hilton, really what he just laid out was this full Republican ticket of candidates that are expected to be unified. He called out Gloria Romero, who is running for lieutenant governor. He called out Attorney General candidate Michael Gates, who is running against Rob Bonta. Others who they say they're selling themselves as these people who want to put California back on the right track. That's, in their words. Whereas Javier Becerra, he is coming at this from a standpoint of, he recently just shot up in the polls. He recently shot up with the support, and he's really backed by the powerful forces in this state that are part of the Democratic Party.
And again, now seeing Javier Becerra's 3 daughters, one of them speaking to the crowd as they are getting ready to introduce their dad.
And as we're waiting for that to happen, Ashley, and anyone else who wants to chime in on this, let's talk a little bit about what happened after candidate Eric Swalwell was hit with sexual assault allegations. His candidacy imploded. He dropped out. He resigned from Congress. And then we saw Becerra rise up, and he started to kind of coalesce this support. Why didn't that support go to any of the other candidates like a Steyer or a Porter? Is there some kind of calculation as to why it went to him? Is that still kind of bubbling up?
That's a good question. And I think ultimately, there was some surprise that support did not go to Katie Porter, the former congresswoman who had tried to run for U.S. Senate in the previous cycle.
Right.
Javier, look, he's got the name recognition, the political experience. He was in President Joe Biden's cabinet as U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary. And this is someone who was also California's Attorney General during President Trump's first term. A big tactic in California's Democratic Party is to portray President Trump as the boogeyman, and the Democratic candidate will take them on. And that was a promise that Javier Becerra could make, because he'd done it before with more than 100 lawsuits that he has filed as California's Attorney General.
It's just an interesting thing to point out, even though Eric Swalwell clearly left the race, his name remained on the ballot, which we knew was going to happen. And just looking right here, the latest count, he still got about 17,000 votes.
Wow.
Even though he dropped out.
One of our producers let us know 61 candidates for governor on the ballot, and all of them, every single one, got at least 150 votes.
Wow.
Yes.
It's kind of remarkable.
But we should also note that this will be an interesting message that voters send to the California Democratic Party, which is really, kind of in shambles right now and trying to find a direction. So, and if Javier Becerra ends up being the pick, that's the direction this party may go in.
Okay, we're waiting for his comment at the stage in Los Angeles. In the meantime, we've got a little bit of time here to show you some of the more latest numbers. So we're going from the governor's race to the lieutenant governor's race here, and this is how it is shaking out. Still, the players are still in the same places that we saw them last time we checked, and the numbers haven't really shifted that much. Fiona Ma, they're leading the pack with Gloria Romero right behind, and then Josh Friday, followed by former Stockton Mayor Michael Tubbs.
A quick look at the Secretary of State's race, which appears to be set with the incumbent Shirley Weber set to advance to November, along with the Republican Don Wagner, who is currently an Orange County supervisor.
And looking at the race for controller right now, we can show you that the incumbent, Malia Cohen, has advanced along with her Republican challenger there, Herb Morgan. So these are the two who you will see on your ballot come November.
Now to the state treasurer's race, and it looks like Eleni Kounalakis is now projected to advance to November, the Democratic candidate, and she may be facing Jennifer Hawkes as a Republican opponent in that race. Jennifer Hawkes is a retired businesswoman with experience in Bay Area local Republican politics and also with Bay Area private schools.
Okay, we've also got this lined up for you here, Attorney General, and you can see the race is set here with these two. Your incumbent, Rob Bonta, who's filed his fair share of lawsuits against the Trump administration as well, and his Republican challenger there, Michael Gates. And again, these are the two who you'll see on your ballot coming up in November for California Attorney General.
All right, let's look at the California Insurance Commissioner positions. You can see Jane Kim in the lead right now. She is a consumer advocate and attorney and a former San Francisco County supervisor. Fellow Democrat Ben Allen in the second position right now as state senator. And we should mention that the Los Angeles fires hit his district. And for a number of the candidates in this race, in the insurance commissioner race, those wildfires, or the urban fires really, down in Los Angeles played a central role in some of their reasons for jumping into this race.
All right, let's get some more breakdown of what's happened so far this evening. And Ashley, we've got a pretty good team over there.
Yeah, let's actually stick with that state insurance commissioner's race, and let's bring in our political experts. Democratic strategist Steve Maviglio, Republican strategist Tim Rosales. Let's, with that state insurance commissioner's race sparked by a lot of criticism of the current insurance commissioner, Ricardo Lara. I mean, what do you make, Steve, of this potential Dem-on-Dem statewide race now?
This might be the only one we see where the Republicans are completely locked out. Republican voters will have to pick between two Democrats. Jane Kim is a Democratic socialist, head of the Working Families Party, extreme left. Ben Allen is a state senator, but he's supported by the trial lawyers. No friends of insurance companies, either of these candidates, so it's going to be a radical position to take on.
Tim, is this surprising, given that, like, a Stacey Korsgaden, for example, I mean, she has been in insurance for decades. She's a Republican. We see Republican Spencer Pratt doing well in the LA mayoral's race. Just what do you make of this so far?
Well, I think that this might be the most consequential race to Californians' pocketbooks in the near term. If you've received a note from your home insurance company or about fire insurance or car insurance, the California Insurance Commissioner is front and center in all of those battles. And Ben Allen, Jane Kim, if they both make it out of this, that will be absolutely critical to every single Californian because we need insurance. We have to have it. Republicans getting shut out of this race, I think, shows that there just was not a lot of investment in Republican candidates. And you had, I think, investment going into another Democrat, Patrick Wolf, who received some support and campaign dollars. And because of that, the Republicans were kind of pushed out, and there wasn't a lot of high-profile notoriety given to this race. But this is a hugely important seat.
All right, Tim and Steve, we'll stick it right there. Okay. Edie Ingolson, back to you.
All right, we understand that Javier Becerra is now speaking. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get right to that speech.